Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali wishing you all your melanin might, because when you employ the expansive scope of what you were made to be, ain't nobody gonna thwart us. Not at all. That's because it's not just a skin color. It is a disposition. It's a nature. It's the ability to think and analyze, all in cooperation with wisdom and truth. Love that stuff. So this is going to be a short share. I'm going to make sure it is. And despite my liberal use of the word booty, if you are suffering from this condition, there's not a daggone thing funny about it. I couldn't step away from this one because of just I don't want to use words that are too descriptive, but, it made me think of twerking because, twerking will just capture your attention for sure. So rectal cancer is striking earlier and killing faster. Millennials face rising death rates as rectal cancer mortality accelerates across all groups. When white folks lump everybody together, I know how they have targeted us with the CMOS, and also just simply to throw in a straw man that everyone would blame, which is the vaccine. They targeted us for an accelerated just inoculation with the mRNA vaccine, where you had Spike Lee talking about free taxi rides to go and get yourself injected, and that, the KKK is coming into the black community and they're smearing, corona on the doorknobs and things, and there's no such thing. See, the vaccines are meant to be a catch-all straw man for every single radiation-induced malady that happens. And reading the book The Crime of Chernobyl, which I'll mention later on too, but all the things that are burgeoning right now are exactly what happened to the population that was downwind of that explosion. And when I've collected, I still have the thumbnails of maps that used to be on Daily Mail. They changed everything because I kept exposing them so much. But they would show where the most cancer rates were happening, and it would be on the West Coast. I collected articles where they were talking about a condition that was happening to just children called flaccid myelitis. And it originated even in the newspaper website. They said in California. Flaccid myelitis is just the same immobility, paralysis that was happening to the sailors at the USS Ronald Reagan that was stationed 1 mile off the coastline of Fukushima when that popped off, and they were directed by the government, by their handlers, to stay right there so they could rescue people. No, so they could do what they always do with these nuclear accidents. They study people. The GI guinea pigs. That's a whole nother book I started reading that one too. But they would station the soldiers like within miles of an atomic bomb test. When they say it's a test, that doesn't mean that it's like, we're going to get a grade A for spelling and here's your math test. No, it's the same thing as what they dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. It has never been proven anywhere using cautious postulates. It was Carrie Mullis who invented the PCR test, and he was so mad. Man couldn't stand Fauci. And he's dead now. I don't know the circumstances, but I'm just saying that happens often. It's happening to all these nuclear engineers and scientists. They were hurting us as they do, as Edward Bernays had effectively modernized through public relations. They were herding us into getting this vaccine. But this is why, not just for the sake of anybody who would be having booty cancer. I feel for you. I am not kidding. I cannot imagine. I don't want to know the horror that you are experiencing. Where, I mean, that is like, if you can't get that stuff out, whoa. So rectal cancer is striking earlier and killing faster. This is not from an injection. The injections go through your bloodstream, not out your colon. Colon cancer is just surging, overall colon cancer. But down at the booty, it's what's driving the exponential rise in rates, and it's killing the youth more furiously than any other group. And I do actually thank Daily Mail for putting, the key signs that you are suffering from this condition. Blood in your stool, change in bowel habits, weight loss, tiredness, pain or lump, and bowel obstruction. They also said that, another symptom can be if when you do defecate, if you're pooping out pencil thin turds, then you'll know that there's something obstructing just the usual parade of what's can't be staying up in you. And so I've done different shares covering the danger of CMOS, of donated rice from Japan or China, any of the Asian countries. China and Japan and Iran, all those nations, they work together. I found more documentation proving that historically that's what they do. And we were listening to Steve Coakley the other day, where he was talking about how China's like one of their favorite sons. And I've shown Trump's granddaughter singing in absolute fluent Mandarin to her grandpa Xi. So when you see stuff popping off, you're just dealing with what they do with the Republicans and the Democrats. Two separate wings of the same zombie bird, and both rotten. And so with these different items that they're, sending to the black community or just public relations, blistering us with the benefits thereof, it's having an undue effect. In the obituaries that I always collect, unfortunately, I never thought I'd be that type of person, but I have to in order to record and pay attention to the rate of death. And so what I've seen is in Africa, there are folks dying on the constant from diseases that never used to afflict Africans. Not at all. The Europeans, when they went down there, were stunned to see so many. They always, highlight the centenarians. That was just like a huge portion of the population. Other than the youth, there was always like Africans. They are still having them beautiful babies. Ooh, don't stop. Right? And make sure you eat a lot of foods with manganese, because then they will strengthen up your cellular walls with superoxide dismutase, which keeps radiation out. I don't know to what extent. These are things that we need studied in great detail. But as long as we're not getting the warning out, then nobody's studying dookie crap. I didn't mean that to be a pun for the whole share, but it is what it is. And so this push, brain-boosting fish oils taken by 19 million Americans may actually harm health, studies find. They'll intersperse little warnings about the seafood in Daily Mail articles, where I have been warning about the sea moss, but then they had an article where Bella Hadid was saying she always drinks sea moss gel, because I have been documenting that these sea moss companies and these sea moss products, sea moss gummy bears, sea moss toothpaste, it's just like, it's when you see something that's just too excessive, it's usually coming from these desperate devils. Even if they hire or incentivize black people to take advantage of the entire avalanche, right? And so I said, you don't see this going on with the white people. And then I noticed suddenly, like Khloe Kardashian, and one of them Kardashian, I don't care about them and their fake booties, were peddling their own sea moss concoctions. You can't be even touching this stuff because it's going to contaminate every single surface with radioactive particles. I don't know to which extent. All it takes is one atom inside your body in various ways to take you out. And so I suddenly notice, and these things I can pretty much predict them because they want to wipe us out. I predicted, but I didn't say so, but I was like, okay, they're going to have to start peddling this to white people. And so they did, but they'll still intersperse little warnings for the, kind of not so clueless white people. Like in California, most white people don't know about Fukushima. But they have a covert evacuation going on. You see one celebrity after another leaving, and they're never going to rebuild Palisades. It ain't going to happen. But it still has one of the, like 3 towns or 3 suburbs that have the highest GDP rate, or they just have the highest salaried rate, not salary, but with the richest people living there. They haven't gotten the message yet at all. And it's just like with the statue in Jersey City, where it's the old man's hand over a young woman's mouth saying, shut the heck up. Shut the heck up. That's why all the nuclear professionals are being taken out, because they kept saying, oh, it's a mystery. We don't know what's killing everything. That's because the devil wants whatever lie that is being told to be effective. He's freaking out. Hegseth is firing one friggin' general after another. And before that, Trump was fired the dude who was head of the national, I don't know if it was Noah. I had a whole share. It's still there on the front of my channel, where he ceased funding them because they had given so much information. I got one of the best projection maps that shows the trajectory of the radiation from Fukushima. You can't find that anywhere, right? And so this was very interesting because I went looking. I typed in this exact title, this exact headline into Daily Mail. Results for dietitian warning as trendy sea moss gel linked to debilitating thyroid disease as Bella Hadid promotes it. I think there was something else, but it never came up. And I went page after page after page. What comes up is now they're like, oh no, sea moss is one of 2026 biggest health food trends, because there's lots of black people who are hearing my warning. And they don't want you stopping, especially if you swung through and looked at my videos. And a lot of times I will highlight Daily Mail. And they don't want you coming up over here and finding what they're still warning people about right here. This is from April 2026. Brain-boosting fish oils taken by 19 million Americans may actually harm health, study finds. Why? Are they going to say why? Not at all. Not at all. And I've said that these things are just historical. They're on the record that 1 year, pretty much 1 to 2 years after Fukushima popped, the World Health Organization said, this is long before the vaccine, because that was in 2011, so that's in 2013 that they said that at the latest, there was going to be a 70% increase in cancer rates worldwide. They know what this stuff does. So thyroid cancer is one of the first outcomes of radiological contamination, especially in young people. This is an old people's disease, thyroid cancer. Same thing with rectal cancer. And so, did we twerk ourselves into ignorance? Because these folks will do things, pay operatives to make sure we're not watching the trajectory, the attack coming from devils. Devils! And this was BLM at Washington, D.C. This was 5 years ago, where this young lady was twerking. Oh my goodness, wow. Oh no, that's not. I thought I saw a cardinal up out the window. I love birds. But anyway, she was a member of BLM, representing BLM, and she was just doing this ridiculous twerking all over the place. That's part of the devil strategy, because they don't have any time left. They don't have any time. They need us distracted with whatever will work. I have gone over this particular portion of their genocide towards us over and over, where there was also a fashion show happening in Brooklyn, or it might have been in Queens. I don't know. But anyway, it was the weirdest thing, where all the models were walking out like they were angry as heck. And this is before all of the extra angry things started happening, including Trump supposedly being shot. I don't believe that. I believe that was a reminder to him. But wow, that ear of his is just like, the Pope should not be mad at him. Say, look, he's a saint. Please, nobody call Trump a saint, because it'll go to his already overinflated ego head. But there are all these, with the model runway thing, they had black men dressed up super gay, and everybody's showcasing their behind, but for real. And that's like, it's like they're trying to push an ocean slowly but surely, but there's not enough time. Even Raymond Levine, who used to be the, health head or whatever, I call him Raymond. He calls himself Rachel, and that's delusional. He said, I think, and it was during the Biden administration, I think that black people actually do care about the environment. Yes, we do. But I'm hoping it's also being made aware to them, because I don't stop. And many of us are alerting our family members, so that these stupid beguilements that they put out here to distract us aren't gaining as much traction as they need. When you kill oceans, you really lose. Not only you lose, the whole planet loses. And we must alert our friends, our family, our churches, our mosques, because the effects are real. As I said, ain't no vaccine that was injected up people's rectums. When they were trying to find the non-existent virus and stuff in toothpicks, or not toothpicks, but Q-tips, long ones, all the way to, I'm sure some people must have gotten a little bit of brain damage. Not that they didn't walk in with the brain damage, and I'm not trying to make fun in case you got one of them tests, but I'm just like going all the way up the nose bones to, what? How in the world did they? I think when they do things like that, they just want to see how gullible are they. How gullible are they? Right? So step away from the beguilement. Assist your sister. It's just, that's the way that Allah puts it together, so that I understood radiation when Fukushima popped off, and I said they're lying, because I had met Dr. Shi, who let me know through his extensive knowledge the facts of how they've lied to us forever. And when I realized, yo, he ain't lying, that's when I was like, all right, get to work, sister. Get to work. And I have never worked so hard in my life for anybody like I work for you. So go to 25000yearcycle.org. You don't have to buy anything, but it surely will be helpful, because this is a monetary economy and they're squeezing all of us. If you cannot afford anything, please do not go into debt buying, I don't know, maybe 100 soaps or something. I'm joking right now. But if you have the resources, I know even during the middle of like rough times, we're all going to stay clean. And I haven't raised my prices. On the silk hair, definitely. I haven't raised my prices, even though they've raised it on all the ingredients. And the soaps are pretty much consistent, where you could buy just one bar for $7. But once you buy $40 worth of product, whether it's my product or Dr. Shi's amazing formulas, then we will ship it out at our expense. Before that, with the $7, you have to pay for the postage. If you just want to try one bar, it's a wonderful option. All right? All right. Woo! And no, twerking does not cure cancer. It doesn't cause cancer either. But being focused on trivial nonsense rather than finding out what these devils are hiding by promoting the trivial nonsense, yeah, that'll have you all jacked up, okay? All right. Mwah! I love you. Straight black pride is our first step to never stopping. Peace and blessings, family.